Hey everyone. And actually, I want to switch this. I want to turn Wi Fi off because I want to be hardwired. And I would like to give this a few minutes to see if anyone's online. I know these unannounced streams aren't easy for people to attend. I think you've kind of figured out my pattern here. When something happens that's like breaking news, that's when I just go, oh my God, I need to go live. And when it's a topic I've planned out more, I schedule it. This is like oh my God, breaking news, which is why I am going live. And I hope to hear from you guys in comments. Not a stream I wanted to do. And once again, in keeping with, I said I was going to do this month, pretty much trying to ignore the National Committee, except when they do something truly awful, and doing my best not to name people, because you could go read for yourself. So I'm going to continue with that. But in fact, something truly awful did happen. That's requiring me to comment. To say that I am absolutely shocked and agog would be an understatement. And after everything I've seen this past year, it takes a lot to shock me. But an LNC member asked a question about expenditures for the Massachusetts appeal. Let me let you know where that's coming from. I've mentioned this multiple times. This, remember, in Massachusetts is a member appeal. Nearly 300 members signed a petition. It's not an appeal solely by an affiliate party or by a single person like mine was. It is a member appeal. That's very important. That means the dues-paying members of this party are exercising their rights under the party bylaws to dispute a decision. No one should ever be shamed, name-called, or ridiculed, or expelled, by the way, for exercising their rights. When leaders do that, they no longer deserve to be leaders. In fact, they should immediately resign, in my opinion. We see our government doing this all the time, making fun of protests they don't like, or other exercises of our constitutional rights that they don't like. And they will go on about how us exercising our rights is costing them money when it's not their money to begin with. We see that with our government all the time. We do not need to see that with our National Committee. And I think it's a perfectly reasonable question for one LNC member to ask the entire LNC, what party resources are being used to fight our own members? Because that is what this current Massachusetts appeal is about. Even if you think the LNC is correct, it is the LNC versus membership. And to ask if it is worth it to expend party resources to fight our own members is a legitimate question. No one should be shamed for making it, and no member should ever be ridiculed for exercising their rights. In fact, the rule used to be on the LNC list, you could kind of go at each other because it's debate. You never attack membership using party resources such as the LNC list. That's always been the rule. But we've seen this past, more so the past 3 or 4 months, certain LNC members that I'm not going to name routinely attack party members from their position of privilege using the LNC list. Now, you may agree with the attacks. You may not like the same people they don't like, but you're not supposed to use party resources in your position of privilege to do that. There's social media. You have your own social media. You could start a YouTube channel. There's a lot of things you could do if you want to get your opinion across without using party paid resources. This should be common sense. And it actually is against the policy manual. But this LNC has thrown the policy manual out the window for, unless it's an LNC member they don't like Joshua Smith or myself. But to the rest of them, the policy manual does not matter. So what happened today that was, I love Ken Mullman's words that he used in the Massachusetts appeal, truly awful. One LNC member said that the blame for expending party resources and shifting the LNC's attention away from fighting the state, as if they've been doing that, which they haven't been, all the blame for that should be placed upon members exercising their rights. And if they are blaming anyone other than themselves, they are dishonest. I am so shocked, and I am prone to exaggeration, but I really am not exaggerating here. I am so shocked that those words came out of the mouth, the digital mouth of a so-called leader of this party, that words cannot even express it. So every single one of you who signed that petition, just know that at least one member of the LNC and all those who are remaining silent in the face of his comment thinks you are to blame for exercising your rights. You are to blame because you're costing the party money by exercising your rights. How dare you? And if you dispute that, if you dispute you're simply exercising your rights and questioning whether the attorney you pay for should be used to fight you, because go look at the metadata. It's beyond me that an attorney doesn't know to clean metadata. It really concerns me about the rest of our representation. But if you dare to complain that the attorney you pay for is being used to fight you, you have no one but yourself to blame, is what an LNC member actually claimed. This is appalling. This is absolutely appalling. As I said, I'm not mentioning names. Anyone could go read the list if you care. And if you do, and I'm sure the person who made this statement is watching, they should resign immediately. There is no excuse for what they just said. I realize it might have been said in anger or in haste, or just, we can all have diarrhea of the mouth. But some things you can't walk back. And that's one of them. That is something that can never, ever be said on the official party paid for list. Every time an LNC member now asks a legitimate question, they get dogpiled by certain people. It's become absolutely ridiculous. You can't ask about the conflict of interest in two LNC members being the founding undisclosed members of an organization that they were going to mortgage the money to give $85,000 to. Members aren't allowed to question that. You're mocked. You're not allowed to ask why the attorney the almost 300 members who signed the petition paid for is being used to fight them. I see a huge ethical problem here, even if there isn't officially one. Again, I'm not claiming any rules are broken. All I can say is if that I were the party attorney, and I'm not an attorney at all, I would have refused to participate in this, saying, I don't know, something doesn't feel right here. Even if there's not like a rule I can point to, I'm getting paid for by the very people you are asking me to defeat. I don't know. Something feels very weird about that whole thing. And to ask about it, you get shamed. This is not a video I wanted to make. I don't want to be talking about the LNC. And I made the promise to you guys that I would not be naming names for this month. I don't need to. It's easy for you guys to go find out yourself. And that I would only be talking about them if they did something truly awful. And this is something absolutely, truly awful. The LNC, at least this particular member, has now declared open war on a certain number of its membership and blaming them for exercising their rights under the party bylaws. How is that? Well, I know it's different in degree, but philosophically, how is that any different than what the Massachusetts party did to the petitioning members? Now, I know it's different in degree because those members got expelled. And I don't apologize for thinking this. I think if this LNC could expel people, it would have expelled a bunch of people by now. I would have been definitely expelled, but they don't have the power to do that. So, but philosophically, blaming members and demonizing members for exercising their rights under the governing documents to express dissatisfaction with the governing body, that statement made by the LNC is in the exact same spirit of what was done in Massachusetts. Tell me the difference. It's so disrespectful. And I don't know whether you meant it this way, Mr. Unnamed LNC member, but you need to read that again and see how it came across. And honestly, you need to resign. And other LNC members, I bet you won't call for them to resign, but you should. But you should. That's, there could have been, except for what JBH did and the things he said about entire groups of people on the LNC list, and maybe some other really collectivist characterizations that have been made the 3 months. I mean, what was just said is at least in the top 5 of the worst things I have ever read coming from the LNC in what I know of the history of the party. Now, of course, I haven't read every email from the LNC in like decades, but at least in my years in the party, it's in the top 5. It's in the top 5. That was really bad. My God. Reno can't come fast enough. All right. I'll see y'all